Hey, it might get a little shaky.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
As you may already know, my name is Donald L. Dowridge, Jr. And it is a pleasure, it is a blessing to stand before you this morning. I may not seem like it at the moment, but I'm fired up. First of all, I woke up this morning.
Amen.
Second of all, I don't even feel like I'm 65.
You don't look it either.
Third of all, it was put in my head to come real with you. Awesome, dynamite, powerful, splendid, sensational young people. Miss Trish, Miss Williams, I'm going to have a long talk with her when this is over. The talk I'm going to have with her about blowing me up like this, all up on the video and whatnot. See what I'm saying? I'm a quiet dude. I stick to myself. I'm a loner. I don't mess with nobody. I just do my own little square thing. But she done took the liberty of blowing me up. And you know what's so funny? What just popped in my head? You know what just popped in my head? Standing in this building, y'all ain't gonna believe this. Anybody in here 18 by chance? At 18 years old, I'm dating myself. I used to work here.
At Sears.
Who said at Sears?
At Sears.
I used to work here at Sears. And the strange thing of it is, I lied to my manager. I lied to him. He asked me, he said, Donald, you know how to drive this truck? It was a stick shift. And I wanted to do whatever I can to keep that job because I was hungry. No doubt. And he said, all right, he gave me the keys. In reality, I didn't know how to drive a stick shift. So upon backing the truck out, you know what I did? I broke the mirrors off the truck. Dowridge, you're fired. That hurt my little heart. But can I tell y'all a little bit about me? So y'all won't sit there looking at me wondering, who is this dude? What is he talking about? I was born on Thanksgiving Day, 1956, in a little teeny place called Baltimore. Anybody ever heard of that place? Yeah. My two sisters and myself, we were discovered as little babies on the street because my mother, Elizabeth Taylor, how many of y'all ever heard of the actress Elizabeth Taylor? Well, I ain't talking about that one. I'm talking about Elizabeth Taylor, who lived in a small town called Dowridge, and very poor. And my dad met her, but unfortunately, when my dad was 18, he was locked up. He was locked up for domestic violence. Well, check this out. By the time I was 2, I was already in my second foster home. Some of you all might say, whoa, 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 whoa. This is a little too deep. But I'm going somewhere with this. And I will, ma'am, can I put the disclaimer out?
Sure.
Ma'am, can I put the disclaimer out?
Hello.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
How are you?
Fantastic. How you doing, sir?
Welcome to our home. It's great to have you.
Oh.
This is our Principal
Sir.
Erwin Bowles.
Pleasure.
Thank you for coming in.
Oh, thanks for having me. So what I'm about to say is, I'm going to say some things because I keep it 1,000. And I'm going to say some things that might hurt somebody. that might cause somebody to get on their phone and dial up hashtag #MeToo movement, or might have me canceled. But that's okay, because the truth must be told. So in my second foster home, as a young child, I was strung up, or just about strung up, on the 3rd floor out the window as they were about to hang me. On the 3rd floor with 4 other brothers, foster brothers. Across the hallway, there was a man by the name of David. He was my foster parents' nephew. I would get scared to get up in the middle of the night to go to the restroom, because David would grab me and do whatever he did to me, constantly. Moving on, I would get to my 4th foster home. And in this 4th foster home, they would forbid me to eat human food. I was made to eat Alpo dog food 9 months in a row. Or sometimes they would even have me sleeping out with the German Shepherd. Or sometimes when I would come in, they would make me sleep in the closet. The night, April the 4th, we just left April the 4th, while watching the show, sir, you might remember it, the Mod Squad.
Mm-hmm. I'm old.
Excuse me? Sir?
I said I'm old.
I'm older than you. The Mod Squad was my favorite show, and I probably was about 10 or 11 years old. I loved that show. You know why I loved that show? Because of Link, Clarence Williams III. He was the first black man to actually star in a series such as that. And just as he was about to go capture the criminal, David Brinkley interrupted the show. He interrupted the show and he says, "We interrupt this program to give you a special bulletin. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was just assassinated while standing on the 2nd floor of the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee." Right away, all the grown folks in the house and some of the little ones, they started crying. I started crying, but I wasn't crying for no Martin Luther King Jr. I was crying because they interrupted my show. I didn't know anything about a Martin Luther King. I didn't know what was going on outside the doors because I was being abused. And when I mentioned and started crying and I mentioned that they messed up my show, the father got up and commenced to beat me in my face. If you look close at my head, right up here, you'll see I got 2 knots up there. I got those 2 knots because of the fact that I was in school. And I gotta be honest with you, I guess I'm in this profession for a reason, because I am a clown. All right, I am a clown. I'm gonna cut loose on y'all in a minute. I am a clown. I was a class clown. So this particular day, I wanted to be Mr. Goody. I wanted to be the good kid, so I sat up front. And when the teacher turned around and write on the board, he turns around, quite naturally, he got a question. The young boy behind me had his hand up, and the teacher said, "Can I help you?" He said, "Yeah, can you tell this big-head boy to move out the way?" And I turned around. And I didn't hit him with this. I hit him with this. And I hit him dead in his eye with it. I'm not bragging. I'm not boasting. But I was fed up. And and way back in the corner of the classroom was the foster father's biological son. He ran home. And he snitched on me. And when I got home with my books, I already knew a beating was coming. And this man said, "Take your behind upstairs and take those school clothes off. And when I get up there, I'm going to show you about fighting in school." And as this man started coming up the stairwell, quite naturally, me as a little boy, I'm getting scared. So I start shaking. If you want to know where the Harlem Shake comes from, I'm the one that created that dance. I'll be signing autographs at the end of the class. And they got another dance called Pop Your Collar, Pa-Pow. I will be signing autographs for that dance too. Let me stop. It's been nice, sir. When this man came upstairs and I got my little wife beater on, he picked me up and he put me on the wall. And as I came down off the wall, he commenced to hit me in my head. Anybody ever seen the movie Candyman? You say it 5 times, right? Well, guess what? Man, I'm a bad man. Muhammad Ali is gone. I'm the greatest. I'm the bad man. But I tell you what, I'm so bad, I'm so great, I will not say Candyman 5 times. He will not come after me. But this man picked me up 5 times. Each time I fell, he commenced to punch me in my face. And all of a sudden, he busted my skin, and he had the audacity to take a bottle of alcohol and dab it and start putting it on my head. You know what I was doing, screaming and hollering. It was the death of me. Why should somebody like that, a little child, go through all that misery? Eventually, they wound up moving me to my 5th foster home, which was cool. Ladies and gentlemen, my biological father, Donald L. Dowridge Sr., came and got me. I was 12. He took me to the South Bronx. I said, oh man, I'm with my daddy. Well, I stand here right now, all marked up because of my daddy. I got knife wounds that he put on me. At the age of 17, he had me in a headlock and he stabbed me repeatedly in my head with a fork. Believe it or not, some mornings I wake up and I got blood and I got pus on my pillow. This morning I woke up, I had to put medicine in the back of my head, right here. My dad passed away in 2001. As a matter of fact, I was speaking at Daytona Community College. And when I came out, my lady said, Don, I got some bad news for you. I said, what's the bad news? Your dad passed away. And I said, oh, all right, cool. I will let you know this though. I was the one that paid for his funeral. Sir, just to let you know, I've been all over the United States speaking.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
I know your case.
I've been honored by presidents of the United States and the whole 9. Uncle Charlie, how many of y'all know about Uncle Charlie, the singer? I opened up for him 3 times. On the day of this man's funeral, my daddy, him laying there in that marble white casket with his name on it, Donald L. Dowridge Sr., my son came in, he said, what's my name doing on there? I'm like, boy, sit down, that ain't you. Tripping. So I got up when the pastor said after the service or the eulogy, he said, any family, do you want to come up and view the body the one last time? So I'm sitting there, this is long after my sisters and I, we have reunited, 28, 29, 30 years old. So I'm sitting there. And my sister, she leans over and she said, don't go up there and do nothing stupid. I'm like, get off me, I got this. So I walked up to his casket. And as I walked up to the casket, I put my arm up like this with the fist. She ran up and put her hand here and said, you better not hit him. I got this. So as I go down on him, I take this hand, kiss it, and put it on his forehead. This hand, look at my face, y'all. This hand, listen how I'm breathing, y'all. This hand, and the pastor, he jumped up and up. And I took this hand, and I went down on him, and I spread eagle. And I came up off of him, and I said, yo, dude, you go ahead on and rest. I'll holler at you when I get there. And I went and sat down. My son was sitting way on the end, and he's looking at me going, after the funeral, he gets in the car, and he said, how did I get a daddy like you? I said, well, son, sit down and let me tell you. It was March 1978. Your mother, she had the audacity to put on Teddy Pendergrass. Turn off the lights. 9 months later, you were born. That's how you got here. I told him that recently, and he's 43, and he's like, come on, man, enough of that. I said, no, tell your daughter how you got here. When she asks you how she got here, you tell her how she got here. Baby, it was Jodeci on the box. But ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. I was destined to be dead. Today is May 3rd. Last week was April the 26th. April the 26th, I didn't tell you about this. My great-grandmother and I, we were sitting on a Friday night watching Sanford and Son. After Sanford and Son went off, we watched Chico and the Man. We were eating dinner. Anybody want to guess what we was eating for dinner?
Spaghetti.
Who?
Spaghetti.
No. Go less than spaghetti.
Fish and grits.
Ma'am, spaghetti, that's rich people's dinner.
Sandwiches.
Go less than spaghetti. I heard somebody say beanie and weenies. Go less than that.
Sandwiches.
Go less than a sandwich.
Oh, shit.
Noodles and noodles? No, that came later in life. Anybody else?
Crackers.
Chitlins?
Crackers.
No. One more. Hungry man dinner. I've had those, but that came later on.
Bread and butter.
Well, I tell you what, a boiled potato. That was our dinner, a boiled potato and water. In the jug, the glass I was drinking, I'll never forget it, on the corner of the glass was some rust. This is us in the South Bronx on 165th Street. My grandmother, she said, who was Pentecostal, deep religious. As a matter of fact, can I be real? Yeah. One day I came in, I was high as a kite. She started talking in tongues. The devil in me said, I ain't going in there. I said, boy, she done blew my eye. Messed me up. So, I take the plate, what's left, into the kitchen. All right? So my grandmother, she shouts out, baby, don't eat the peeling because the peeling's not good for you. How many of y'all be hitting them peelings? Huh? Look at my sister back there. Girl, you know I be killing it. So I was in there in the dark. I took her peelings that she left and I stuffed it in my mouth. Junior, what you doing in there? And I hurried up and swallowed, had a lump in my throat. And I said, nothing. So after I put that away, I go to my bedroom. And just let you know, I didn't have a nice luxury bed like you all have. I had a cot. And my dad was so hard on me that every day I got out that cot, I had to fold it up and put it in the closet. But this night I left the cart out. I put on my gang outfit. I didn't tell y'all that. That I was vice president of the Black Spades in the South Bronx. Let me back up before I get to the killing part. I was in a place called Rikers Island at the age of 13. Rikers Island, anybody ever heard of Rikers?
My father works there.
He works there now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He about to retire.
Okay, all right. Well, I was there at 13, and just to let you know, there was a couple of famous people there too. Tupac and Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne was in cell number 23. a year and a day, gun charges. And I had to fight all of those 9 months. I'll never forget that first night, young brother walked by my cell and said, yeah, you mine. I slept that whole night like this. And I became a good fighter. So this night, I'm walking out the door, my grandma, I got my hand on the door, my grandmother, she always sat there on the couch reading her Holy Bible. And she said, Junior, where you going? I said, Mama, you need to sit there and read that Bible. Don't talk about Jesus, she says, as I'm walking out, as the door is open. And I said, you know what? Next time you see that Jesus, you tell that fool to holler at me and give me my $5. And I walked out and slammed the door. 4 hours later, she got a call, y'all. 4 hours later, she got a call, because when I left, I went to the gang hangout. The name of our hangout was called Soul Train, after the show, Soul Train. And I have you know, my sister, why you doing like this? I was the best dancer of that gang. As a matter of fact, at 65, I still dance. I got left back in the first grade. I know I'm Roman, but I got left back in the first grade because I couldn't stop doing James Brown. When I saw James Brown on the Ed Sullivan show, I said, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. And they got me left back in the first grade. Well, the funny thing is, we was on a cruise one year, and I signed up for the talent show, and I won the talent show as James Brown. The funny thing is, I'm in a recording group now called Soul to Soul. And we end our show with me doing James Brown. Woo, talents, gifts. So as I'm at this gang house, a knock on the door. Artie goes open up the door, and he wounds up, I don't know if I should say this. He wounds up Will Smithin, the guy on the other side of the door. Bam! Keep my... Let me stop. So when he smacked this guy, me, I'm all drunk and high, I can't hardly stand up. Somebody ran by me, and guess what? They stabbed me. So when you're drunk and high and you stabbed and shot, you really don't know. But all of a sudden I started itching. No offense, y'all. As I'm itching, scratching, this finger goes in. I pull the finger out and it's dripping. I said, no, I know that MF didn't. So I went back in and I twirled it. And I came back out again. I said, this fool stabbed me. And I just happened to see him, so we got into the paint. We was what? Battling it out. But in the meantime, I'm losing, because I'm losing blood. And ma'am, would you believe he stole me? Bam! And when he stole me, slow motion, I went down. And I saw my whole life before me. And when I hit that pile of snow, I started turning that snow red. I lived in the part of the Bronx where the police, the fire department, DEA, nobody came in that part. That was like Vietnam, if you will. Nobody came in there. Fort Apache, nobody came in there. New Jack City, nobody came in there. Because we had that thing on lock. If it wasn't for my boy Teddy, who ran out there in the middle of the street and dared the police to hit him, I wouldn't be here to address you today. And when they got me to Lincoln Hospital, and they had me laying on the table, the first thing, can I tell them? The first thing the doctor told me, he was a white guy. And he came out his mouth and he told me, he said, somebody praying for you. Because you're supposed to be dead right now. You ain't supposed to be here, you're supposed to be down in the morgue. Somebody's praying for you. And he told me to cough. There was a garbage can here and a garbage can there. My face is here. Cough. I cough, vomit coming out here, and blood coming out here. 17 years old. And all I know is 2 weeks later, I woke up in a coma. And when I finally, you know the crazy thing about that? Nobody came and picked me up. I had to walk all the way home when they released me. And when I walked, I was walking like this. But before I left, the doctor told me, we didn't sew you up. We put a clamp in your side. And he said, when you get in your 50s, unfortunately, you're going to experience a lot of pain. You might be leaving Earth. Ma'am, when I got 50 years old, shoo! Huh? Let me see you what? Nay, nay. And ma'am, I love telling my age. I'm here at 65. Huh? All net. My grandmother, she decided to move me out of New York and move me here to Tampa, Florida. I've been here since 1974. Anybody know where the Dutch Motel at? No. Right? Right on, my sister. That became my home. I lived in the Dutch Motel. And when I was living in the Dutch Motel, I was selling drugs as well. Like I said, this was one of my jobs. I worked at Columbia Restaurant. They fired me from there because as a dishwasher, I was supposed to be washing dishes. But most of the time I go in and do what? Get me a plate, put that bad boy behind the dishwasher and get my eat on. Because I got tired of my stomach growling. I don't know if you remember the old Morrisons. Yeah. I worked there as well. So they fired me. I got fired from every job. And my name is Donald. My last name should be Trump. You're fired. Dun, 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 dun. Hey. So anyway, I got my first job. It was at a place called Singing and Shrimp Company. And I worked there for 3 years until I said, you know what? I need to get off these streets. And I went in the military. And when I went to, matter of fact, how many of y'all know where the check cashing place up there on 40th in Hillsborough? It used to be the Army, or it used to be the military recruiting station. I walked in there, and the sergeant, he says, hi, can I help you? Have a seat. Hold on a minute, he said. He went in the back and brought a Coke. He said, here, have a Coke. I popped it. No. Not what's your boy name that bought just bought Twitter?
Elon Musk.
Yeah, not Elon Musk Coke, because he talking about putting Coke back in it. All right? Not that Coke. All right? It was a regular Coke. So the sergeant says, you want to come in the military? I said, yes, sir. And the first thing he asked me, do you have a high school diploma? I said, no, I don't have no high school diploma. You don't need no high school diploma to come in this military, to go in the military. He said, you need one now. So just to let you know, I got left back in the first grade. I got expelled in the third grade. I got expelled in the third grade because I pulled 2 white girls' hair. Please understand, in 1963, I was unaware, or should I say 1964, I was unaware of what was going on outside, far as racial situations, far as Dr. King, far as the civil rights movement. Prior to Dr. King speaking in Washington, D.C. to 280,000 people on the mall, not in the mall, on the mall, as you all might know, he said, I have a dream. After he said, I have a dream, the school I was enrolled in, Turner Station Elementary, they shut it down and they bused us to Dundalk Elementary, which was an all-white school. And I have you know, when we rolled up on that campus, we saw all those white, I'll never forget this. We saw all these white people out there with signs, bricks, rocks, screaming, we don't want them coons here. We don't want them ends here. Take them out of here. We're going to kill them. And I owe a lot to those National Guard men who came up on that bus and calmed us down because we were scared. I was scared. I didn't know no better. But thanks to Dr. King, we're in this school. I had another favorite show. You might remember it. No, you're too young. Oh, no, you're too young. It was called Mr. Ed the Talking Horse.
Oh, I love that show.
Stop telling your age.
Right.
Mr. Ed the Talking Horse. I was so amazed to see a horse talking. Not knowing, now you ready for this? It wasn't until 1996 a young 13-year-old girl told me, she said, oh, because I told her about the story, and she said, oh, you know how they made horses talk, look like they were talking? I was like, how? She said they put peanut butter in the back of their mouth, and so I didn't know that until 1996. But it was Mr. Ed the Talking Horse that gave me the love for horses and riding horses. So when I became an adult, that's one of the things that I took up, riding horses. So, understand, we didn't have a color TV. Can I be real? We didn't have a flat screen TV. We had one of those TVs, bam, stop rolling. And if we wanted color, we had a screen that was yellow, red, and blue. And we put that on the screen. That was our color TV. But everything was black and white. Mr. Ed, the horse, he was white. He had a bang, and he had a long ponytail. So when I saw those two white girls walking down the hallway, quite naturally, it wasn't about a race. It wasn't race. I ran up behind him. I said, give me Mr. Ed's hair. So I went to the principal's office. And unlike today, that principal, white guy, not only did he cuss me out, he called me all kind of ends, coons and everything. I'm just a little boy in the 3rd grade. And the only thing I can do, ma'am, was stand there and take it. They expelled me. The next time I got expelled was in the South Bronx at PS 146. Me and my boys was in the bathroom. We was in the bathroom smoking cool cigarettes. Cool cigarettes today is nothing like cool cigarettes of yesterday. Matter of fact, at 13, I had hair on my chest. So anyway, the boy over here, peer pressure, the boy over here, he said, when we get back to class, if that teacher say anything to us, I'm gonna punch him in the mouth. I'm the tallest of the 3. We get back to class, who punched the teacher in the mouth? I did. This tooth right here came out. I'm not bragging. So you know what happened to me, right? I get to the 7th grade. I told y'all I was a clown. I was a gangster. Tupac was not no thug. Those that's out here calling themselves thugs and gangsters nowadays, they ain't. Because I was that. And when that teacher who gave me an F on my report card walked by me, and I'm sitting in the back of the classroom, matter of fact, just like this young lady sitting, I was sitting just like that. And when that teacher walked by me, I told my boy that I was back there talking to the teacher, telling him, shut up back there. I'm like, oh, shut up. And I told my boy, I said, yeah, that's what that fool that gave me an F on my report card. And my boy said, don't touch him, man. Junebug, don't touch him. You're going to go to, I don't care about no jail. I already did that. So when that teacher walked by me, and if anybody old school, you know how heavy those desks was back then? I picked it up, and I threw it at him. I'm not bragging. God bless his soul. He went down. And the teacher called me to the principal's office, which was on the 2nd floor. Get off my property, he said. And unlike today, you know, everybody's searching everything, and you got the cameras. I had a blade in my pocket. And he told me to get off his campus. He had a brand new 1972 white-on-white Bonneville. And I went out and I attacked his car. Until I heard this. Oh! You know what that was? It ain't like today. Whoop, 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 whoop. They need to put, every time I hear that, I want to get on the mic. Whoop, whoop. Yo, here they come. Baby's on the way. Yo, get the day. Yo, you better watch it. Hey, get your dash on. Let me stop it. You know what? It's been nice. Thank you. I came to Hillsborough High School. Anybody here know what tardy is?
Late.
What is tardy?
I think he come from.
Tardy. That's being what?
Late.
Well, my dean at Hillsborough High School back then, and me coming from the north, I didn't know nothing about being what tardy was. I thought he was talking about my mama. So I went at him. So one day he was in his office, and I walked up in his office with my finger like this, and I put it to his head, and I said, I'm gonna blow your mother, never to be seen again. And it's funny, 20 years later, at the old Winn-Dixie that used to be here on 22nd, I was going in, he was coming out. And as he was coming out, he said his eyes went like this, so I thought he was coming at me, so I get my stance. Would you know, this man came and he hugged me, and he said in his ear, in my ear, this ear, he said, I know there's a God, because you wasn't nothing but the devil. He said, I read all about the great things that you are doing now. And I said, thank you, sir. And from that point all the way on, that's what we used to do. We used to hug. And I went to his wake a couple of years ago. And I stood over his casket. And I apologized to him for all the pain and agony that I brought to him. And it's funny because after that, when I started speaking, I would go out to a facility, his sister was there. I would go to the old Zares, his nephew was there. When I used to work for Winn-Dixie Warehouse, his brother was my boss man. I couldn't get away from him. But it was a good thing. Because those guys, believe it or not, they help mold a food. Like I said, I went in the military. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Y'all might say, thank you for your service. Well, thank you. My first 3 years in the military, I ain't cared nothing about the military. I walked around with a fro like that. It wasn't until I got to my 4th year that I started tightening up. And I got injured. And when I got out, they gave me not 1, but 2 honorable discharges. That's a blessing. So I'm gonna move on. But at the post office, I became the first black manager of a department. That's a blessing. I retired from the post office at the age of 39 years old. That's a blessing. And not only that, my son, he was the cause of that to happen from the mouth of babes. And I started my company, DLD Enterprises, determined to learn and develop. And the whole focus of this, as I sat before the feet of one and only Mr. Les Brown, how hungry are you? What do you want to do with your life? Where do you want to go? What's your game plan for your life? I didn't have a game plan. I stumbled everywhere I went. But what's your game plan? Just to wake up every day? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of people that do that. They wake up every day, and when they wake up, a lot of them are mad because they woke up. They upset because they woke up because they want to be dead already. Because of the fact that they feel like they're wasting their life. They're not living their purpose. You got to live your purpose each and every day. My wife thinks I'm crazy. Because when I wake up every morning, I'm in a joyous mood. I wake up and I stand up. When I get up out of bed, I stand up for a second. You know, I'm 65, so I got to get my balance. And then, quite naturally, I go do my bathroom, my hygiene. She's laying in the bed. I come back and I jump on top of her. I love you. If you don't get your behind, why are you so happy? She always asks me. I say, because of the fact that, guess what? I'm 65 and I still can do the things I could do back then. She said, you going to work? I don't go to work. I go to have fun. This is my passion. This is my passion, and you all are my love. How you like that? Yeah.
I was even.
Because guess what? Hold on. I don't have to know you to love you. Because back in the days, whoo, I've come a long way because some people in here, they probably be calling po-po. So I've come a long way. There's some people in life, they probably would be calling po-po. I come a long ways. So how are you gonna come and go a long way with you? Because quite naturally, guess what? Y'all probably don't remember this, but there was a singing group called the Supremes. Stop in the name of love. So why do I bring that out? When you get those confusions, them discombobulated people that come at you, talk to the hand. You feel me? Don't give them the time of the day because all they coming to bring you is what is called distraction. They're taking you out of your focus of you being great. Of you, like my boy would say, being dynamite. Because one thing you don't want to do, and I can say this now because I'm there, you don't want to get so far in your life that you look back and you haven't accomplished anything. What are you going to tell your grandchildren when you get there? When they say, Mama, what you accomplished? Ma'am, can I tell you something? I go to Falkenberg prison every Monday. And I hold court with stone cold prisoners. And one thing I'm telling them, what you going to do when you hit them streets again? Are you going back into the same atmosphere? Or are you looking to rise? Are you looking to greater you? A lot of times people that you allowed in your circle, you better believe there's 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 of them in that circle don't have the best you at interest. So what I'm saying is you should always be 24/7. You should always be 24/7. Number what? One. Number what? Uno. Number one, I. Huh? In case y'all don't understand, here's the English version. Be the best you. Because when you look in the mirror, you don't see all those people around you. You got to eat, sleep, 24/7 with you. And look. Sir, people tell me I should be a preacher. You should be a preacher. Ma'am, can I tell them? I will not be a preacher. The reason I won't be a preacher, because ma'am, I still got game. It is now the pastor's anniversary. I need those checks. Dun, 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 dun. Somebody sitting out there saying, stop playing with Jesus. I ain't playing with Jesus. That's why I'm not a pastor. And please, do me one favor. If you haven't heard anything I said this morning, do me a favor. Know how to put a serious smile on your face. I'm going there, and this is where the hashtag #MeToo movement gonna come in. Because I see so many young people walking around with frowns. I see so many people walking around with their heads down. I know what's going on in our life nowadays. I know what's going on overseas. I'm well versed in what's going on in our society. But don't let what's going on in society take your smile away. Take your joy away. Ms. Williams, can I brag for a second? The reason I don't look and don't act 65 is because, guess what? Nobody's gonna step on my what? J-O-Y. Because I'm just a happy what? B-O-Y. And I be what? Kicking that thing like what? 24/7, because what? When I get to heaven, they'll know I'm there. Don't worry. Be happy. Integrity. How you represent yourself. And sir, please don't take this out of context, because I'm about to get canceled. Well, since I've been standing here, I've been eyeing all of y'all. I've been looking at all of y'all. I'm gonna step on my toe. I'm a man. So I'm looking. And guess what? I don't see not one ugly person in here. Can I tell the truth?
Tell the truth.
I see nothing but beauty up in here. As a matter of fact, Miss Williams, me and her, we talked prior. Miss Williams, can you put the camera down and go get the red carpet? Because I want everybody to walk on it. Woo! And I know if that was the case, each one of you all would walk on that carpet with confidence. You will walk on that carpet and to say, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered. Watch how I what? Move. To the left, to the left. So you got to believe in yourself. Because nobody, ma'am, when I was a little kid, the lady next door, she used to come pick me up and put me in her little Chevrolet Impala, and I would stand on the seat, and she would tell me, boy, you're going to be dead by the time you get 30. That's what she was telling me. And ma'am, on my 30th birthday, my boys came over to take me out. I said, no, I'm dying tonight. I actually put on a suit. I put on a suit and I laid in the bed just like this. I was very unfamiliar about them taking you to the morgue and cutting you open and embalming you and all that good stuff. I was like, okay, well, when they come, they just like with the pizza. Just put me in the casket, boom, and drop me. But a big mistake was made. The big mistake was I woke up that next morning. And I promised that every day after that, you got to be on top. I don't care what your living situation is. There's many of people that we follow, that are stars, football stars, sports stars, politicians. They all got a what? Backstory. Michael Jackson, in one of his last albums, he said, his story. What is going to be your story? How are you going to make this life work for you? How are you going to what? Be the baddest, the boldest to step out? Because a lot of times, Miss New York, a lot of times people say, they ain't going to listen to me. Nobody don't want to hear what I got to say. I'm a failure. Why am I trying? I'm quitting. There's a lot of people who quit. And those people that quit, you see them as you drive down the street. No, I'm not throwing shade on them. But why quit when you can go through it? The storms come. Who said this life is supposed to be easy? Who said it's supposed to be easy? How many of you all ever received something free? Raise your hand if you received something free. We all have received something free, but the moral of the story, the backstory is that thing we got for free, we didn't appreciate it as much as we went out there and earned it. So if somebody come up and give you some here, take this cell phone, it's yours. You're not going to appreciate it as much if you go to T-Mobile and you what? Drop them digits. Then you appreciate it. Then you love it. Because who it belonged to? It belonged to you. It's yours. And you, ma'am, and you're going to defend it. So guess what? You got to know how to be. And you got to have that instinct. You got to know how to be. The power and have it. The power of being a W-I-N-N-E-R. What that spell?
Winner.
What that spell?
Winner.
Y'all can do better than that. What that spell?
Winner.
Y'all can do better than that. What that spell?
Winner.
I need a choir. What that spell?
Winner.
Oh, look at here. Here we go. What that spell?
Winner.
Say, what that spell?
Winner.
We got nothing but winners in the house this
now
morning.
record,
So,
that's
yo, look at here. Let's twirl in the world. And y'all better come on because we're whipping and dipping and tripping and getting. Because we what?
Winner.
We know that we winners because we number one. We flow and we what? And we have the fun. You better step aside because here comes number one because we are the what?
Winner.
Give yourself a round of applause. I wrote this book in 1995. My man, after I wrote this, I put it away.
Okay.
I put it away. You know why I put it away? Because I didn't believe nobody was going to read it. I put it in the drawer. I had 10 drafts. I still got all the drafts. I put this book in the drawer because I believed that nobody was going to what? Read it. I had denial. I had doubt. I didn't have what they call self-confidence. I didn't have what they call self-esteem. I didn't have what they call motivation. But I had what I just said, denial and doubt. I can't. I'm glad that man came along years later and said, I can. Yes, I can. Because guess what? 17 years later, I pulled this book out, the script. I pulled it out. And on January of 2013, I said, you know what? I'm going to move forward with my book. Well, don't you know that 2014, this book came out #1 on Barnes & Nobles. This book sold over $6,000 worth of, 6,000 copies and more. 5 different languages. So don't tell me what you can't do. You can do anything you put your mind to. Can I be real? Can I be real? My sister says, may the force be with you. And you know what? I can't even do that. How do y'all do that? See, I got. Look at my sister. You better what?
May the force be with who?
Hey.
I can't do
She
it.
done flipped on her brother. You do that again? Oh!
Hold up. I gotta hold my hand on that. You gotta do. All right.
And I'll be the first to let you know. I don't care what y'all thinking about me. I'll be the first to let you know I don't know everything. I don't know my body. Look, sister, because you're the only one. I got your attention now. Look, that's me right there. And she sitting up there laughing and said, excuse me, sir, you need to close that pinky. Well, ma'am, I can't close the pinky. You just going to have to take it like it is. But look what she got. She got the gift going on. How many of you all got the gift going on? Before I switch from negative street to positive avenue, believe it or not, ma'am, may I? I went out to Staples back then, and I bought a pack of these. And I wrote on these, I'm great. I'm awesome. The world is mine. I have tenacity. I have strength. Nobody's going to stop me. And you want to know something? With these, I had them in different colors all around my apartment. So everywhere I looked, I saw motivation. I saw inspiration. I saw something that was pumping me up and giving me the strength to go out, no matter what people say about me. So much so, at the Florida State Fairgrounds, I became the first black to perform on that stage as James Bond. But it's all about believing in you, having your inspiration, having your, what I call, go power. See, to be a winner, you got to be able to wade, W-A-D-E. You got to be able to wade through all the discombobulation and all the confusion that's coming at you. To be a winner, you got to be independent. If you're going to follow somebody that's going to take you to what? Elevation land. Don't follow somebody that's only going to destroy you. Somebody that's going to use you. And then somebody at the end of the day, file 13 you. And then it's you who are crying. It's you who is complaining. It's you that throwing things at the wall. Because you what? Allow somebody to what? Drag you along. So if you're going to follow somebody that's going to give you the gusto to stand tall, to look at yourself in the mirror, to go after your dreams. Les Brown, who personally, I was his chauffeur, he personally told me, he said, Donald, you got to be hungry. I said, sir, I ain't hungry. I ain't talking about that hungry. But I'm talking about that hungry to go and get what you think you want, you deserve in your lifetime. So you got to be independent. Because, sister, as you sit back there shaking your head, everybody's not going to see what you see. Stevie Wonder has a new song out with Nas. And I forget the other brother. It's called Follow the Wave. No, it's called Water. Stevie Wonder. Now watch this. Stevie Wonder signed with Motown at what? 11 years old. Stevie Wonder, this man is blind. I'm gonna give you my Sherry is more very superstitious. I just call to say Stevie Wonder. Ma'am, what give him the audacity to wind up being as great as he is and he can't see? Ray Charles, baby, what I say? Baby, what I say? Jose Feliciano. All these three right there, blind. But the question in the matter is, how can we have pupils to see? How can we have the limbs to do what we do, the fingers, the legs, but we elect to do nothing? Sister, can I tell you something? I still remember that day, 1996, it was a Friday. I was standing out in my mailbox a week before turning 40. I remember that just like I'm looking at you. And I'm still asking, where did the time go? I found out the secret is when you don't look at the clock. I found out the secret is when you get involved in something you love, you don't have time to look at the clock because you're enjoying yourself so much. And when you're enjoying yourself, how many of y'all ever say, wow, where the time went? That's evidence that you were enjoying yourself in that moment. Now, can I take it to the street? Can I take it? Ma'am, can I have your permission to take it to the street? How many of y'all have been to a party? Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody said you asking the wrong one. As a matter of fact, I thought I saw you at that party, 20 years ago? As a matter of fact, you was at the bar. I said, hey, girl, what's up? What's up? And you looked at me just like this. What you want? I just want that dance. You better step off, fella. Okay. And guess what I told her? I said, I'll see you in May, all right? 2022. I'll see you. What are you talking about? Hi. I'm snitching on you, sister. Now, here we are. Do you want to go on that date now? The players in the building. What my boy say? And another one. Let me stop. Because, ma'am, can I be honest? I turned my player card in a long time ago. So I'm no longer a player, okay? Appreciate you, sir.
Appreciate you coming.
Thanks for having me. Everybody all right? Everybody all right?
Yes.
Everybody still with me? Because here's the moral of the story. I don't want to waste nobody's time. All right? So that's why I asked. Are you still with me? But I want to take it to the street. How many of you all ever been to a party? Raise your hand if you've been to a, come on now. All right? Here's the big question. How many of y'all ever been to a trap party? All right? Oh, look at my girl over there. As a matter of fact, I was the track queen. Walking down with my track king.
Did you notice?
I believe you were the one that was walking with Fetty Wap. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Oh, nobody call the po-po on me, please. I'm talking about people. All right? But here it is. You know, when you go out to a party, before you know it, guess what they doing? The lights are flicking. I just got here, somebody said. How many of y'all like this? The party started at 9. How many of y'all like to get there about 11?
Perfect time.
Party over.
That's perfect
That's what y'all
time.
have. It might be over, but guess what? That's when the party really starting at 11, ain't it? Huh? We all juiced up. The DJ, he mixing that thing. Huh? It's getting hot in here. Then he throw some what? Ooh. And y'all be on that floor. You see what I'm saying? Shoot. And next thing you know, guess what? They flicking. And then you turn the radio on the next day, your boy, all right, he talking about, yeah, I saw y'all out there at Club Sky last night. We turned it out, didn't we? That's right. You see what I'm saying? And you waking up like, whew, that was the party, but it ended too quick. Well, that's how time flies. When you having a good time. And when you indulging yourself in something that you love to do. Oh. How many of y'all? I'm gonna get in trouble, ma'am. I'm getting in trouble. How many of y'all love money? Raise your hand if you love money. Put your hand down.
Definitely.
You ready for this? Call hashtag #MeToo movement and it's cancel culture. Don't never, as you live on this life, in this life, come out your mouth and say, I love money. I like money. Because Maslow's law says that we have to have that money to survive because nothing is free. But when you give yourself to the love of money, you selling yourself short. You opening yourself up to all kinds of negativity. Meaning that you would do anything. And watch this, I'm going there. You will sell yourself. But wait a minute, I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about mentally. I'm talking about spiritually. You're selling yourself. I got to get that brand new car. I'll do anything to get that. I got to get this. I'll do anything to get that. You feel me? That's selling yourself to get. But when you have the realization that, you know what? I do need the money. But I need the money to take care of my children. How can I do that? My niece, her name is Dawn. Her mother named her after me. At the beginning of the year, as I'm strolling through Instagram, I see the name Dawn. No, wait a minute. And then as I see the real name, it's the real name. I said, that's my niece. Well, guess what she's doing? She's doing lashes. She just turned 22 years old. She's taken Baltimore by storm. What does that mean? She discovered the gift inside of her. So when she discovered the gift inside of her, that opened the door for her to get what? Money, stacks, paper, dineros. And guess what? Now she has the luxury. What's that word I just said? She has the luxury to afford some things that she wants because she did what? Earned it. Luxury don't always mean Mercedes-Benz. Luxury don't always mean mansion. Luxury can be just what? Being able to go to Walmart and buy a box of what? Cornflakes. Out of the money you did what? You earned. Nobody did what? Gave it to you. So when they give it to you, guess what they can do? They can come and take it. Guess what they'll come and say? You remember when I did? Watch out for those people. How many of y'all been hit with that? How many of y'all been hit over the head with that? Yeah, you remember what I did? You better come on. Huh? Oh, sister, can I go hood talk? No, can I go ghetto? Can I go ghetto? Yo, you know what I did? You better what? You better come on. You know I ain't playing with you. Shoot, huh? Shoot, I keep it 100, huh? Shoot. Only thing y'all didn't see me sagging. I don't sag. But back in the days, we had that. We didn't sag back in the days. We just walked around with our belt buckle open and our top button open. And our permanent, close your pants up, you nasty son of a what? I'm like, oh my God. Nowadays, it's like my son came home when he was like 18 with 10 pair of underwear on and his pants way down here. I'm like, dude, what's up with that? Yo, Dad. How you doing, Dad? And guess what I did? With my pants up, I did the same thing. I marked them. I said, yo, son, there's the door. Get out. Sister, can you give me a high five? How many of y'all familiar with Chris Brown? Chris Brown had a song out called Beautiful People. Beautiful people. As a matter of fact, when I go to the gym, sometimes I put that on. Because that's inspiring. Because you all are beautiful. So with the end, notice who you are. Don't let nobody belittle you. Don't let nobody take you off the track. Because in the end of the day, you got to look at you. You're young now. You're young now. But if you don't take care of you and you're young, by the time you get 40, there are going to be some issues going on. Not issues with the outside world, but issues with who? You. So take care of yourself. Stay beautiful. Do the necessary things to keep you in glow. Do the necessary things that when you wake up and you look at you in the morning, you say, hey, I love you. And don't let anybody, all right, come about you. Because you want to know something? Ma'am, as you record me, you got something a lot of people don't have.
I know that's right.
You got something a lot of people don't have. You got something a lot of people don't have. Mira, senorita, you got a lot of things people don't have. My sister back there, my sister, while you looking at her laughing, you got something a lot of people don't have. Oh yeah, my sister, yeah. Hey girl, you got something a lot of people don't have. Matter of fact, I need to write a song about it because you got something a lot of people don't have. And the minute you wake up and you recognize you got something a lot of people don't have, oh snap, world, watch out. Because here you come, live and living color. And another one, you think about a lot of people who are on star time. Somewhere in their life, they didn't believe in themselves. Matter of fact, ma'am, can I pull somebody out the air? Megan Thee Stallion. Oh yeah, my boy, he like, why he went there?
We're talking about Megan.
But wait a minute. I pulled Megan out, but I'm not gonna whop you, okay? Somebody got it. All right? But the moral of the story is, matter of fact, I am gonna whop you. You are a winner. You got altitude, and you should wear your positivity. I just whopped you.
I like that.
I'll say it again in case you missed it. I'm gonna whop you. W-A-P. You're a winner, you got altitude, and you should live on positivity. And since you want to throw an S on the end, you got solutions. It's all inside of who? You. Who? They call, ma'am, you're the only one listening. They used to call me big head, gigantor head, refrigerator head, microwave head. My dad even had a party at the apartment. We didn't have no DJ, but somebody was on a record player. He took my head in front of all the, shut up, y'all, he said. And he took my head and he shook it. Then he had the nerve to ask the people there, did y'all hear anything? And they talking about, no. I told you this end ain't got nothing in his brain. My daddy never told me, called me Junior. Never hugged me. Never called me Donald. He had one word for me. And I'm going to say it. Ma'am, it's been nice. I know I'm not allowed to come back anymore, but he would call me nigger. That was my name. That's why I'm so offensive when I hear that word nowadays. And my son, he has the audacity right now when he sees me. If he walked through this door, I would run to him and hug him. And then he got the audacity to come out his mouth and tell me, why you always acting like a puppy when I come around? I said, I act like a puppy because guess what? I didn't get it when your granddaddy had me. So I'm giving it to you. My granddaughter, when she comes around me, she runs from me. You know why she runs from me? Because I smother her with love. And one day I'm going to let her know why I did it, why I smother her so much. Love somebody in your independence, in your noticing of who you are. And be natural. Be natural. Man, when I first started out in this game, I used to wear my hair nice and short. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I should say, you know what? I'm gonna keep my hair short because I'm black, I'm a man, and guess what? A lot of people ain't gonna let me in the door if I have my braids in or curls in, whatever, so I'm gonna keep it short. About 2010, Ooh, I bust loose. I feel like busting loose. I feel like busting loose. Now you see my hair. Matter of fact, ma'am, I don't even comb my hair in the morning. You know what I do? I just run the what? Finger through it. I just run the finger through it. That's my comb. And the only time I really comb this stuff is when I'm going on stage to portray Frederick Douglass. Oh, I ain't tell y'all that. I travel the country. This is my 13th year traveling the country portraying Frederick Douglass. I blow my hair out, pow. But other than that, when it's all said and done, guess what I do? I run my finger through it. I might have ran it through it too much, because that's why I got that sunroof back there. Stop playing, sister. She back there saying, yeah, I see that ball. Cracking on me on the side. I don't see you outside, all right? Matter of fact, I'm going to introduce you to my trunk. She's back there like, I'm laughing, but I'm scared of you. I'm harmless. Stay natural. Be you. You don't have to come out of yourself to be like nobody else. And I know for a fact, when class is over, all right, on any day, when class is over and you're in here and the class is over and you walk out, you talking and you kicking it with your people, with your with your classmates. When you get back home, you kicking it with your family. When you out, you kicking it with your friends. But don't give up who you are. As a matter of fact, I had some Cuban guys in my class yesterday, my session. I asked them, I said, what are you? They said, Papi, we from Cuba. I said, okay. I said, but check this out. As a matter of fact, there was another one. One of them was Cuban and the other was Mexican. And he said, Papi, I'm Mexican. I said, hey. He said, you funny. I introduced you to my friends. I'm like, who your friend? M13s. So I told him, look at my sister over there. She over there. He went there. Sister, I said in the upstart, I'll be real. So I'm telling my brothers, I say, yo, look at here. Stay who you are. Though you live in this America, don't forget who you are. Don't give up that beautiful language that you speak. Don't give up that awesome life that you live, that lifestyle that you live. That's a custom, that's a culture. Well, a lot of us come to America and guess what we do? We give up our culture. We give up our language. We give up our style because we want to be what? Like everybody else. Be neutral. I put up on the board yesterday, I put R-A-W, rap. And then I went round and I asked. And when I got to my Hispanic brothers, I said, what you listen to? Papi, we listen to rap. I said, you don't listen to traditional Spanish? No, that's old school. We listen to rap. I said, see, I just made a point. Rap has taken over everything. For us that's in here old school, you turn the radio on, guess what? You're going to hardly hear anything old school. If you want to hear old school, you got to go to what? Pandora, Google, Spotify, Facebook. If you want to hear something, but you're going to hear it on what? 95.7, 94.1, 93. Shoot, if you even go to the country radio station, they got country rap now. I be walking down my house and I saw my girl. I said, yo, look at here, you better come in my world. I said, man, rap taking over everything. They used to have a choir at church. You go to church now, you got, yo, I found Jesus on the street. I said, yo, look at me, I'm dressed so fleek. You know what? I'm gone. I'm clowning myself too much. But I like some of y'all sitting here looking at me the whole time. Okay.
All right. That's how they live here in real life.
Express yourself. Express yourself. There was an old song, since I'm talking about songs, there was an old song, express yourself. You see what I'm saying? Be able to represent who you are. Nobody, how many of y'all been told this? Open your mouth. Nobody know what you're thinking. Anybody been told that? Mm-hmm. Because guess what? Everything is a price nowadays. But what's inside your head, it's what?
Priceless.
No, it's priceless, thank you, and it's free. Because nobody can get in there. So while you in there and you thinking, as though 55,000 thoughts run through your head every 24 hours, stop the thoughts from running and jump on something that is progressive. But not only that, don't allow yourself to say, no, ain't nobody listening. Come out and speak it. How many of y'all know somebody that they always on talk time? Anybody know anybody like that? All right? And some of us, boy, I wish they shut up. They're on my last nerve. But you ever catch when they going at it, there is something that comes out that you be like, whoa, they saying something there. Anybody?
Yeah.
That's part of those 55,000 thoughts, just like in your head. You see what I'm saying? When those thoughts are rolling through, make sure you let most of them run through. Because it's only about maybe 100 of them that is the what? The diamond. Is the gold. Is the pearls. And then when you pull that down and you exercise it and you bring it out, guess what? The door opens up for you. But if you just keep it in because you don't know how to, or you denying expressing yourself, then guess what? The train is going to pull off from the station and you're going to miss it. And everybody in here, me too, her too, them too, has said this number one saying since the beginning of man. You know what it is? If I woulda, shoulda, coulda. Somebody will what? Deny it and say, wait a minute, sir, the Bible's the number one book. If I woulda, shoulda, coulda. Oh, what's the other one? Number 2, I regret. And ma'am, as you sitting there shaking your head with that awesome red afro, you work it, girl. All right? I do have regrets. As a matter of fact, ma'am, can I snitch on my son? My son, he's a grown man, but he gets on my nerves sometimes. Especially because I'm 65 and I have pain. Sometimes my back go out, sciatica nerve and all that crap. Before I got married, I would call him. He'd answer the phone 5 days or 10 weeks later. And then when he answered, I said, son, where you been? What you want? Huh? And I tell wife, you know what? I regret. She said, what you regret so much? I said, I regret that I only had one child. I wish I would have had a daughter. But the reason I didn't have that daughter, because I was so selfish. I was so stingy. Because, ma'am, in my days when I was your age, it was all about who? Oh, sister, one thing I got from my dad is dressing. You feel me? Oh, I be dripping big time. You feel me? And I had the finest cars. How many of y'all? Wait. Let me pick. Let me make sure. Ma'am, no, you probably wouldn't. Ma'am, do you remember Miami Vice?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. When well. I'm sorry, I thought you was like 20-something.
Oh, thank you.
Let me ask you a question. We got any Sagittarians in our house?
Yes.
Watch out for them Sagittarians, boy. I'm glad I'm not a Sagittarian. Ma'am, stay over there, okay? Now wait till I tell you my sign. You want to know my sign? Sagittarius. It don't matter if you're black or white.
December?
You Sagittarius?
No, I was asking, were you born in December or November?
Man, don't put me in December. Put me on November 28th. Hey, back in one of my favorite groups from back in the day, Ohio Players. They had a song out, it was called Jive Turkey. Baby, you're a jive turkey. That's me, I'm a jive turkey. That's right. Put me in the oven. Pull me out. Watch all the juices come out. Excuse me, ma'am. You don't go there, okay?
I'm sorry, I didn't. Phone kicking this up. My bad.
I do it all the time.
My bad.
Ma'am, go ahead. Enjoy yourself. In aura, the last letter of winter. Re-give. Re-give. I don't care where you are nowadays. I don't care what type of economical situation you're in. I don't care what your dollars are looking like. I don't care what your shelters look like. Home, domain. Be able to come out of you and give to somebody less fortunate. Be able to come out of you and make somebody's day. Even if it's just a little smile. Because you never know when somebody's going through something. I very seldom tell people this. But there was a day that I was walking down the street crying. Grown man. About 20 years ago. Walking down the street crying. And I had a brick in my hand. And I was about to bash my brains out. I'm serious. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I didn't see him coming. He's walking like this. And you know what he did? He bumped me. When he bumped me, he turned around because right away I went to take that brick and knock him in the head. And when he bumped me, he turned around at me and he said, God said it's going to be all right. And he went on about his business. When he said that, because I was so amazed that he was drunk, and he came out his mouth and said that. The brick that I had was about to crash my own head in. I dropped it immediately. The moral of the story is you never know what you might can say or do to help somebody else out. You don't have to be a billionaire to help somebody else out. It doesn't always constitute coming out your pocket to serve somebody. It could be a hug. It could be a hand. It could be a bow. It could be a door. It could be what? A hand, an elbow to help somebody else out who might need you. And please don't get it twisted. They might be better off than you. But just because they're better off than you don't mean that they can't use a helping hand. As a matter of fact, my great-grandmother told me, she said, baby, it's amazing that you got billionaires out there. Well, back then it was millionaires. And some of these millionaires, believe it or not, they're lonely. Some of those millionaires, you read about them, they done jumped out 103rd floor because they don't have anybody. Because they put all their interest, all their life in money. But I'm going to let you know something. We as human beings, we are more valuable than money. Trust me, money don't have a heartbeat. We have the heartbeat. Money, if you lay it down, it will not move until you pick it up. Us, we move at will. Us, we're flexible at will. Us, we can blink our eyes at will. Us, we have endorphins that drip down in our body and make us what? Happy. Our pupils, they enlarge when we are what? Happy. Dollars can't do that. Material things can't do that. Fancy cars can't do that. So always know how to come out of your heart and re-give. And don't let the re-give just be your family. Because in case you don't know, you got family A and you got family B. That family A, they're going to rock with you all the way through. They don't care how many times you make a mistake or how many times you fall. They're going to rock with you. They're going to be there to lift you up. But watch out for that family B. That family B will only step in when it's time to get something. That family B will only step in when they see you on what? Channel 13 News with that big old check because you won the lottery. Those are going to be the ones that's going to come to your crib, your mansion. And when you go to sleep, they're going to sleep too, but they're going to wake up 3 o'clock in the morning and hit the door. You're going to wake up about 8 o'clock. I'm a millionaire. Go downstairs, everything gone in the pawn shop. You feel me? That beautiful car, that Bentley you just bought, guess where it's at? They're sitting in front of the pawn shop. Because that family B, they just want to get high on you. So know your richness. Think about others as you would want others to think about you. Because in case you don't know it, my wonderful people, my powerful people, my dynamite people, my awesome people, you are special. As I look at this sister here, I'm calling you out off the porch. It's funny, last night before I went to bed, laying there, I had a thought. I thought back to when I was going to a speaking engagement. And don't get this twisted, young sister. When I was going to a speaking engagement, I pull up in the parking lot. I like to back in, you know. Man, I got that from living in the South Bronx. You see what I'm saying? So I back in all the time because you never know when you got to work. See what I'm saying? I don't know about y'all, when I go out to eat, when I go out to eat, don't put my back to a window and don't put my back to a door either. See what I'm saying? When I'm sitting there eating, yeah, I'm looking at you, but you better believe my 180 eye fan is checking out everything. I'm looking at everything moving. See what I'm saying? Because guess what? You ain't gonna sneak up on this brother. If you ever saw The Exorcist, I'm Linda Blair's brother. You feel me? And those who know about The Exorcist, you know what I'm talking about. I would take his head and I'm going 360. Okay, that's enough. I won't scare anybody. Child, that man stood up there and took his head and went all the way around and came back and went. Let me stop her. She's having too much fun over there. I liked him. He needed to be my black granddaddy. I said that one time and somebody said that, that's racist. Sit your behind down. That's racist. I'm going to report you. Sister, I can be your black granddaddy, okay? Just give me your social security number. Anyway. I can hear now. I'm glad somebody said, Mr. Dowridge, can I talk to you? You're not invited back, okay? But anyway, I get out my car. There's a van parked right here. How many of y'all ever get out your car and somebody parked next to you and you take that uncuffed look? You be like, anybody ever do that? You know what I mean? How many of y'all be at the light and you be like, and all of a sudden you be like, my girl would say, never, I'm minding my own business. So anyway, as I'm getting out the car, I got to go on the other side of the car to get my briefcase, and I got some books with me because I'm going in to speak. So as I get out, I notice the doors on the side of the van open up. When the doors open up, I notice this, this ramp comes down. And I'm wondering where it was a lady. I'm like, where's the lady at? All of a sudden, here she comes down the ramp in a wheelchair. But she's not doing this. She's sitting like this, going like this. And yeah, I had the audacity to come out my mouth and ask her. I said, excuse me, ma'am, what are you doing here? And you know what she said? She said, baby, as long as I can get up and go do what I need to do. I said, what is it you do? She says, I'm a supervisor here. I said, ooh. And at that moment, you know what? At that moment, tears started coming to my eyes. My eyes started watering. Because I straight up told her, I said, ma'am, I respect you to the utmost. She said, what you talking about, baby? I said, you're supposed to be in the bed complaining and crying because you're paralyzed. She said, oh, no, not me, baby. I got something to do. And this right here, that's just the body, but my mind works very well. I said, well, you go ahead on, baby. You work it. And guess what I had the audacity to do? Stand there and open up the door for her. And she rolled by me and she said, thank you, baby. I said, no, thank you, because you just gave me motivation. So, sister, be motivated. Go to the stall and don't let nobody stop you. If anybody attempts to stop you, you got wheels. Huh? Get out the way. Who let my dogs out? In respect to the late who? DMA. So as I get ready to wrap this up, sisters, my brother, do anything. Be anything. Inspire to climb the highest mountain in your lifetime. Be willing to look back before it's all said and over and say, I done it. I did it to the fullest. And those that are trying to help you get to your next plateau, those that are teaching you, understand, they only here to teach you because they love you. I know for a fact teachers don't make that much money. For the people standing here, they don't make that. Yeah, they got their degrees. Sure, they got the degrees. But there's many people out there that got degrees. They can go play sports and make billions of dollars. But they come in here because they have a passion and they have a love to see you prosper. To see you get where you're going. I looked at the wall, and some of you all noticed, I was standing over there looking at the pictures. My son, he cuts hair too. My nephew cuts hair too. I got two sons and nephews that cut hair. And they do an awesome job. Some of them, like my son, is self-trained. But that's just one of the jobs that he has. I asked my son, I said, son, you black, right? He said, yeah. I said, son, I didn't know you were Jamaican. You got 20 jobs. This dude cut hair. He built boats. He built pools. He put he put walls up in the house. He got 1,000 jobs. Can I come out and tell him? I asked my son Sunday night when he called me. I said, son, how many years would it be come August? He said, it'll be 10, Dad. It'll be 10. I said, I'm very proud of you. He said, thank you, Dad. You know what the 10 is? 10 years since he got out of prison. 10 and 10. He did 10 years in fair time. 10 years later, I tell him, I said, son, I'm so proud of you. Because you think about it, because he was caught. We all have those down moments, those DIDs. Remember that, DID. Somebody say, what's wrong? What's wrong? Just say, I'm having a DID. What's a DID? Down in the dumps day. And I told him, my son, somebody gonna get a message out of this. I told him, I said, son, think about it. 10 years. Now think about all the ones who got out the same day you got out, and they went back. He said, Dad, yes, a lot of them, they went right back. And even when I left out, they told me I was coming back. Okay, take it for granted. A lot of them didn't have what he had. A dad and a mom. A dad that stays on him and push it in his head that you can do anything you want to do. Son, you remember when you was in the 5th grade and you asked me to come speak to your class? Well, this DLD is because of you. Moving forward, what is your DLD? He's the 3rd. What is your DLD? We all have somebody. I'm looking at the phone and I just got a hit. We all got a phone. We all dial somebody. We all cry to somebody. We all bow our head to somebody. But there's always somebody on the other end that's always doing what? Bringing us back up. That's why I say re-give. And understand that you're superstars and these people that are here trying to put something in you and mold you and build you, they do it not because of the money. They do it because they love you. They love doing what they do. They see you, they're their future. They see you, the profession that they're getting you ready for. You get paid. They see you, the profession that they're getting you ready for. You can be that entrepreneur. Oh, scratch that. You can be that executiveship. I'm not an entrepreneur, I'm an executive. I run me. You can run you. They're getting you ready. So when you open up your shop, your salon, your nail shop, and guess what, sister? Can I talk to you? And you telling your employees. Did I just say something? You telling your employees. Or they're coming to you and asking you for advice. And you can revert back to who? To who? Ms. Williams. To who? I'm sorry.
Miss Shiraka.
Miss Shiraka. To who? Oh.
Student.
Oh, that's a student. My bad. And guess what? Well, guess what? They still can revert back to you. And they can revert to
Miss Tracy. Miss Tracy.
Miss Tracy.
Oh, Lord.
And it's funny that I was picking with you, but since I know your name, believe it or not, there was a Miss Tracy in my life who inspired me and built me too. And you want to know something? I canceled a trip one day going to Baltimore to speak. You know why I canceled it? Because her son-in-law came in the house and stabbed her 15 times.
Well, damn.
Miss Tracy. I ain't put no bad, no. But wait a minute. Let me give you, hold on. Let me give you the end story, all right? And ma'am, she's a Sagittarius too, all right? She's about 70, maybe 79, 80 now. But you want to know the end story of this? She said I was laying in the hospital about to die. But you know what? I'm healthy as I don't know what now. I'm doing my thing. And, ma'am, she's a pioneer here in Tampa. How is she a pioneer? She's one of the first ones that started WTMP radio. She's a pioneer. She's the lady that every time B.B. King, Temptations, what's your girl? Don't Break My Heart. What's her name? Yeah, Tony Braxton and a few other stars come. She's the one that sometimes sitting in the back of the limousine taking notes and taking them where they want to make sure that they're okay while they're here in Tampa. Don't never say when you start where you can end up at. But it's up to you every day to get up out your bed. It's up to you, and I'm going there, it's up to you every day God come by and blow that breath with you, you open up the lives. Let's go. Let's go conquer. Let's go be the best who we are. Sure, people will step before you and try to make you mad, upset, and try to steal your joy. But guess what? Let it roll over. Pop your collars, baby.
Yes.
Pop your collar. Because when you pop your collar, how many of y'all ever had hair on your collar and you pop it and the hair flings off? That's real. See what I'm saying? And then when you pop it and they swing off, you walk away and say, yeah, let me go get it. Get it, get it. Get it, get it. Oh. Get it, get it. Oh. Let me go. Can I do some Soul Train real quick?
Do a line. What if
You know what? You have,
For your ending, you gotta do it. Come on. You gotta do my girl.
no, I'm going to talk about you before I end.
No,
I'm going to tell all your business since you
I ain't got no business.
Oh yeah, I'm going there. You see that lady right there? You see that lady right there? I'm snitching on her, all right?
Keep it on.
No, I'm going there. I'm opening up the whole door and then I'm going to leave. And they're going to be like, oh. Well, let me tell you something. In the time that I've been knowing that sister, one thing I can definitely say about her, she's never opened up her mouth to let negativity come out of it.
That's so true. I know.
She has always been on positivity. As long as I've known that sister, she's always said, you know, Donald? And she's even went there. She went there and called me, you know what, Mr. D? I have dreams. And what I would like to do, I like to help young sisters and to do their thing. Cosmmetology. See, I can't even say the word. Somebody
You know what you're talking about.
You can't even speak. No wonder you don't have a high school diploma. Well, I have you know, I got my college degree when I was 40. I got a bachelor's degree. I ain't finished yet, sister. And when they called my name up, I was way back there running my mouth. Remember what I told you? That was me back then. Yeah. I'm the man. And they were like, Donald Dowridge. I was like, yeah. Donald Dowridge. Got in there. Donald Dowridge! Oh, man, get up there. This is me walking up there. And when I got up on stage, and they put that degree in my hand, and I stepped over here, you know what I did? I started crying. I broke down and started crying because I felt like finally I accomplished something. And the po-po came up. Anybody know who? I'm sorry, I'm talking street. The police came up and said, sir, I'm sorry, but you have to get off the stage. You're holding up. Well, guess what? After the police escorted me off the stage, guess who came up next? The janitor. The janitor came up because we was wiping up all 40 years of tears. Don't tell me what you can't do. Tell me what you can't do. And just to get back on Miss Williams, she's always been a superstar in my life. She's always been inspirational. She's always given me great thoughts when I left her presence. All right? So don't get it twisted when I said I'm opening up the door. I don't even know it like that. But I know on a professional basis. So y'all got a jewel before you. Just love her, respect her. Don't be ashamed to ask questions of her, because she definitely got experience. Oh, sister, experience don't always come because you're old. You feel me? There's a lot of old people that don't have experience. The first thing that come out their mouth, get your mother by my God, you son of a mother. Matter of fact, bring me my medicine. Go to the bathroom, bring my teeth. Can you tell me something positive? I ain't got nothing positive. Shoot, my life was a mother. It sound like Richard Pryor. So take advantage of it. All right? Like my boy Bill Withers said, use me up, but don't abuse me. Use her up, use her up, use her up, but don't abuse her. Don't have the audacity to walk out of class when I kill that mother. I hate her. She gets on my nerves. Oh yeah, somebody laughed because they probably said it. If anything, because guess what, sister? Everybody is not pleased by what everybody say, especially when they're trying to help you. You see what I'm saying? Because it's called constructive criticism. So they're not trying to what? But they are trying to what? Oh. These are my 2 books. These are 2 out of my 14 books. They told me I couldn't do it. My first book, Truth in the Poem. I took it on like Master P. Anybody heard of Master P? When he first came on, nah. You feel me? Now he's a multi-billionaire, but he sold his first record, his first CD out of his trunk. MC Hammer did the same thing. Think about how many brothers out here selling mixed tapes out their trunk. Matter of fact, my brother down there on 22nd Street. All right? Sister, you sit up there going like this. Let me tell you something. Can I come out of the car and tell you something? I done hit him up for a lot of those CDs. And I know he got a lot of $5 coming out of people's pockets, selling it out the trunk. You see what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to step out, because you never know what the input would be. Well, I guess you say, what can make this man feel this way? You all, talking about you all. Thank you. Thank you all for allowing me to be here this morning. Thank you, Ms. Williams. All right? I really enjoyed, honestly, I really enjoyed this. And I just hope and pray that you all got a little something out of this, and that you will instill it in your further walk in your life. You feel me? Because big things are on the way for you, but you got to open up them doors to get to that big thing. Don't look back at this moment 10 years later saying, I missed it. Take every minute and roll with it, stroll with it, flow with it, live with it, and go to that higher step. Everybody takes a step up, but how often do you take a step down? We as human beings, we're made to walk forward, not backwards. Because see, if we walk backwards, we're going to definitely hit something. We're going to miss a step. We're going to kill ourselves walking backwards. When we're driving, we look in the rearview mirror. It's small, but that windshield is large for a reason. So you can see everything that's coming at you. But see, when you concentrate on what's behind you, you'll never get to where you're going. There's a clock. That's why the clock has 12 and 6. You leave 6, you're going to 12. But the more you hang out with 6, you'll never get to 12. And then you ask that dumb question, why this happening to me? We all have asked that question. You feel me?
Wake up every morning to go towards your 12. Wake up every morning to drive and look out your windshield. You see what I'm saying? Always look at the bigger picture, not the little picture. Use your 180. That's what you got. They call it peripheral vision. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at that picture, but I see all of you all. You feel me? I see you. I see my sister way back there. She just went here. Somebody gonna try me. Somebody over here, they want to move to see if I see it. But it's about using your eyesight. It's about using everything you got. Ma'am, I'm gonna say this to Michelle. I say I'm not a preacher. I'm not a pastor. And I hope I haven't preached to y'all this morning. But I will say this. God gave us all these limbs for a reason. Know how to use them to your advantage. Holler at your boy.
Thank you.